Hey everybody, I've got a special video for you. Recently, one of my staff did an interview with one of our partners who is an Afghan church leader. The Taliban is taking over, and if you can imagine the worst that's going to happen, that's what's coming. So we're in discussions talking with the church in Afghanistan, just talking about how to help them, what we can do, who's going to stay, who's fleeing. It's an amazing story. Some people want to get out. They're publicly known they will be executed if they don't get out. And yet others know that they're in great danger, but they're going to stay. They are called to their Afghan brothers and sisters. But anyways, this is just the story. It's in the headlines. And what's going on in the background is just fascinating. So stay tuned. And this is going to be a two-part series. So this is the first part.
I think that there's already a number of strategic areas, highways already in the hand of Taliban, not already like brought a great fear in just the general public people. And whoever have been kind of working in some of the known governmental organization or NGOs or even Christians who have not been into the religious side is that there are great fear there. And a few of the cities are already surrounded, which there are Christians inside that, and there is no way in and out. And they are right now at the moment. But I think that at the, in the last couple of years, the government have been a little bit softer on the Afghan Christians. I think the other fear is that many of those, I would say, moderate Afghan employees in the government will have to leave eventually because they cannot cope up with the system, whether they're on the police forms or in the security or even in the general governmental services. They are eventually leaving, resigning their jobs. Some of them are moving out of the country. Some of them are just getting to different things. And more radicals are coming to the power. More of the government employees are becoming the radicals. That even in the government right now, it's slowly starting to change toward the Christians. And already, if there are known people, already there are threats and things like that are receiving, because more of this very conservative, very radical Muslims are taking positions into that. In some way, maybe the government is appointing these people to show to Taliban that they are Islamic. I don't know what the thing is, but even inside the government there are issues to that. So that's one problem. The other problem is that the Taliban has a great number of influence in terms of intelligence into the hearts of that. And many of the times the people cooperate with Taliban in terms of intelligence, giving out information, is because they want to be safe. They want to be protected. So if they come to my area, I will tell them everything that I know, so that when the Taliban come, then they spare my family, they protect my family, they don't hurt me. And that's the other thing, that even the Christians, they do not believe, they do not even trust their own family members of that. And a few believers that are under the Taliban control, the Taliban come in the area of the mosque, how many members, household are part of that, and they take names of all of these people who live there, and they have a book that everyone have to come 5 times to the mosque, and if you don't come, then you have to be a good reason for you that you have missed a prayer. So that for some of them is just that already in that situation, it's just very difficult. And already places like north of Afghanistan, where Taliban have controlled some of the areas, having a beard is compulsory. Taliban come to their houses, they ask for food, they ask for money, things like that. And especially if you're known somehow that you have not been religious, some of them are known that they have been Christian. Women are not allowed to go out. Even women are not allowed to use a taxi without having a male companion, not shopping. So just already limited to a lot of things that kind of pre-entrance of the Taliban. And some of the areas that some of the people, they have received a threatening that they will be killed. And that's just the case that Taliban entered. Definitely they're going to kill some of the Christians that have been known. And that way they want to spread that fear that, we will not tolerate anything against that. For other people, kind of, weaker, maybe some of the women, some of the people that have been very simple people, villagers, farmers, that kind of probably will be gonna force revert to Islam. And that probably have been a very humiliating way of doing that publicly to the people, bringing them to probably some sort of media and things like that to these people. So just that's another way. And even in some parts of Afghanistan, they already have posted some posters that if you have a single girls above 15, you have to marry them to the Taliban soldiers, or if there is widows that are young below 35, they have to get married. So we send them to, so that the fear is like what happened in Nigeria, that many of these people that have somehow been suspicious of Christianity or non-Christians, that their kids will be taken away from them, both male and female. The female will be forced to marry Taliban, and they will be sending back to madrasas to kind of brainwash through that. And the parents might be killed, might not be killed, but definitely the fear is that they will lose their children. Definitely the girls will be forced to marry Taliban soldiers, and just that's very dark thing. So that a lot of parents, that's just what frightened them, thinking through that. In Badakhshan, it happened to some of the people that are not Christians, but have been in the area of controlled Taliban. And one of the guys, when they recaptured his area, he told that the Taliban come and they forced him to marry his 15-year-old daughter to one of the Taliban. And then later on, he knew that not only the guy that's married is sleeping with his daughter, but a number of other Taliban are doing that, like kind of what happened to Syria. So we have a few reports like that that's coming up, and that definitely for Christians, that's just an obvious thing, that they're going to take all of their kids and that they have to go through the retraining of that system and marrying the Taliban. And for the boys, they all have to be like, go to re-educate in the madrasas, and definitely soldiers. They will be definitely trained as soldiers forcefully. There is a number of them are already thinking to move out to some of the bigger cities, and there is an amount of time that they can be even safe into this bigger cities until they find out about them. One particular brother that had to leave his city from the north, come to Kabul, the Taliban already sent them a letter that he has a house. I mean, he's a 65, 68 years old man. His entire saving was just to build that very simple house. And the Taliban are threatening to take his house. So it's already, they sent them a letter. They said, hey, we're coming and we want you to know that this house belongs to us. Yeah, the imam that was in his area a couple of years ago, he shared with them, he had some talk, and the imam at one point wanted to kind of burn his house, things like that. But the imam was very radical. He left and he went down to join the Taliban. And later on that he came up, he just already sent warning to him that this house belonged to us and all that. It's just this is a very simple man. He is making some crafts and he's not educated at all. He cannot read and write, and just that his entire saving is that. And not only to this, is just that the threat that is to his family and to his kids, that all over the country, that the Taliban definitely will take all the properties, assets of the Christians, and definitely all their women will be taken. And I mean, just that the fear that is there. I mean, that for people are just, what should I do? And he sent me a voice message yesterday. He said, I'm praying, I trust in God, but help me. I mean, guide me. What should I do? What do you think I should do in this time?
Well, I hope you enjoyed part one. We're going to be back next week with part two, and we're going to talk more about how the church is preparing for the takeover. We can't obviously say everything that's going on, but we're going to get into some of what the church is doing and how they're preparing. So stay tuned and hope to see you next week.